Now let's see an example. Here we are making x as a final member variable. X is a member variable and we are making it final. So you will see, because we are keeping it uninitialized, we are not initializing any value, it is throwing an compilation error. Now the rule says when you are declaring a member variable as final, either you initialize it here while time of declaration itself, or if you are not initializing it here during time of declaration, you need to provide a value inside constructor. That is also allowed. But once a final variable is given, one initialized with one value, you cannot change its value. Now if you see here, we are declaring a final member variable, and here inside the constructor we are assigning one value. Now if you see in this line number 12, because we are trying to assign a new value to the same value x, so it's throwing an compile time exception that you cannot assign a new value to a final member variable. So the point to remember is final member variables can be left uninitialized during time of declaration, but it must be initialized inside a constructor. But once it is initialized with one value, its value cannot be changed. We'll see a program. Let's see the theory first, then I'll write a program and show that to you. Now see, this is a final static variable. So the rule says a final static variable must be initialized during time of declaration. Because it's not initialized here, it's throwing us a compile time error. Or if you are not initializing it during the time of declaration, then you can initialize the static variable inside a static block. That is allowed. But once you are initialize that static variable with one value, you cannot change its value. That is, you cannot assign a new value to the static final variable. So the rule says if a static variable is made final, then it must be initialized during time of declaration, or if you are not initializing during time of declaration, you need to initialize it inside a static block. But do remember that once it is initialized inside a static block, its value cannot be changed to a new value. We'll see a program on this. Final static variables are called as constants in Java. In an interface, the variables are by default public, final, and static. That's why all the variables declared inside interface are constants. Now we'll see final local variables. As I told, the local variables are those which are declared inside a method. So as per the rule says, a final local variable can be kept uninitialized during time of declaration. That is allowed. But once, if you see, once you are assigning one value, here the value 10 is assigned to x, which is a final local variable. Once the value is assigned, you cannot assign a new value. Here we are trying to assign a new value 20 to x, and it's throwing an compile time error. So this is what the rule says about variables, final variables. Final variables are final member variables, final static variables, and final local variables.